for less than 10%. We realize that most SMEs do not even know how to apply to banks. They don't know how to prepare banking proposals. So we now felt we needed to appoint experts who will help current and potential customers prepare bankable proposals, right? And this was corroborated by a study conducted jointly by KPMG International and the Enterprise Development Center, where it was discovered that there was an banking industry-wide 90% rejection rate in applications that go to banks. In other words, out of every 10 applications by SMEs, 9 are rejected. So they don't know how to prepare bank proposals. So that was why we appointed 122 BDSPs, and it was through a competitive process. National advertisements were placed, and we appointed 122. And we didn't stop at that. We also negotiated concessional fees, because we also know that most SMEs will not be able to pay, for example, an EDC, right? So they agreed that for loans below 10 million naira, they would charge as low as 10,000 naira. And for loans above 10 million and below and up to 50 million, they would charge 25,000 naira. And loans above 50 million and up to 200 million, they would charge 50,000 naira.
This is for just training?
No! Preparing
the business.
bankable
proposals. Yes.
Which ordinarily cost perhaps double digits in some instances, hundreds of thousands, ordinarily. So these are concessional fees.
Mr. Bankole, I mean, yes, you had this agreement. 6 months down the line, it looks like the target, you're not nearing the target. Why?
Yeah, there are so many issues. The bankable proposal is one of it. But to be able to generate those proposals, you basically sieve out those that are serious and those that are not serious. And so people may want money for the want of it. But by the time you start going through the documentation, then you will notice that a number of them will not be able to follow.
So you're implying that of all the people you've had, these issues of
not all of
sincerity
them.
or purpose?
Not all of them. I would say out of every 100, perhaps 80 will fall out quickly. Now, when you take the 20 that are serious, and again, this is a conversation we've been having, the issue of collateral is a key issue. And there is no way majority of these people will still be able to access because they don't have the collateral. Irrespective of the funding, and I know that there's quite a lot. I think you have about 15 billion set aside
this year.
There is no way majority of the small businesses will still be able to access it, because when you do have very strongly well-prepared packaged proposal, the issue of collateral, especially for women, is a major issue.
Mr. Bankole, you mean that the money is there, sitting down and crying for SMEs to come and take it?
Now, it's not.
Yes, 15 billion.
Finding people.
Yes, exactly.
It's
15 billion for this year alone.
It's not only BOI. It's not only BOI. We even have initiative by the CBN. So at the same time, the issue of collateral, as we must come together, BOI, the stakeholders, all of us must come together and say, how can we resolve this issue?
Now, let me swing to Mr. Olamide. Now, since the issue of collateral is a big issue, and we keep mouthing it that SMEs are the way to grow the economy and all that, is there a way that you can waive or tinker with the collateral part? You know, we have seen airlines who have taken loans from banks, and the banks are sitting in their offices collecting money for air tickets. Isn't there a way you can do something like that to ensure that your money gets paid back?
You are spot on. We've been thinking out of the box. And what you just described, we've also done in the creative industry. We've supported some cinema houses, and we got commercial banks to man the box offices of those cinema houses. So those cinema houses did not provide us with any collateral because we could tap into their cash flow.
Yeah.
And the commercial banks will sweep to BOI whenever the loans are due. So, and then for the lower strata of society, we also came up with the issue of personal guarantees. If you want to borrow below 10 million, you probably do not need asset-based collateral.
Okay.
But if you get high net worth individuals in the environment
to recommend
to guarantee you with notarized statement of net worth, That is all we need.
But the question will now
How
arise,
many
how
of them
many
we have
of these
access?
people have access to high net worth
Net worth
individuals?
individuals.
Well, they don't really have to be high net worth. It could be a bank manager, it could be a lawyer, it could be a civil servant of Assistant Director Cadre, provided we're sure that based on their assets, that was why I talked about notarized statement of net worth.
Mr. Lagunju,
they can
if I may come in here.
cover in case of default.
When our last guest mentioned a place, a location in Lagos, so let me use that, Alimosho for instance. There are people who live in Alimosho, and all they know to do, they make shoes.
Yeah.
And he probably has 2 or 3 employees, and he wants to expand. He's looking at 5 million. He does not know a civil servant of director, assistant
And he
director,
doesn't know a
Cadre.
bank- he doesn't know a bank
he doesn't
manager.
know a bank manager. How would he do it?
You see, while designing a financial system, you cannot dissociate that system from the society or the environment it's operating.
Yes.
You are assuming that every SME applicant is genuine and sincere. Like he just explained to you, we are a development finance institution largely owned by government. I can assure you that out of every 10 prospective applicants who come to the Bank of Industry, 8 believe they're coming for their own share of the national cake.
Oh dear.
And they don't want to pay back. And this cuts across everybody, even that are highly placed member society,
Who believe
former
that?
ministers, retired generals, who have presented to the Bank of Industry fake certificates of occupancy, CFOs for properties located in Lekki. So where do you draw the line?
Again, I think the challenge really is that if you look at our financial system, everybody today believes that you must start with developmental banks, with commercial banks, but we do not have those people that take you from the initial startup stage to a level where the commercial banks can come in, likes of venture capital, angel investors, private equity, and things like that. That is the one that is missing, and we need to deepen the market. Otherwise, it will become extremely difficult. The situation that a scenario that you painted, somebody needing a 5 million, you are doing shoes in Alimosho and all of that. It is not that it is not possible, but that person must also demonstrate a track, a capacity to be able to absorb the 5 million, a track to say, I can pay back. So these kind of people will go through a simple system where you borrow 500 first, then you pay back, then you go to 1 million, then you pay back, then you go to 2, 3. That way, there is that discipline of taking and paying back. And those are the things that the banks must see beyond. So, and that determines your character, what we call your character in giving credit to people.
So from your experience, what can be done to ensure that the right quantum of SMEs actually meet the requirements and access this money that's just sitting down there waiting for them?
2 things. The first is that we need to change our mindsets, and we need to agree that truly, if SMEs are the engine of growth, we must both work together to make them that engine, which they really are. And in advanced countries, people are doing this. You have the SMEDAN, for instance, who can play a pivotal role in ensuring that small businesses have access to government contracts, for instance. And through that, they can domicile it into banks. And that way, you are able to show that these small businesses are behaving well. The issue of credit bureau is also something that we need to reflect on. If I am able to demonstrate through a credit bureau system or a rating that I am a man that can take money, a business that can take money and pay back, then I don't need to pay heavily on issue of collateral, because my character will weigh more for me. And this is what has happened in most advanced countries.
Okay, Mr. Lagunju, you said 15 what? Billion has been set aside. This is June. We're almost, in 3 weeks we'll be halfway through the year. How much of it has been accessed?
Well, less than $1 billion. I agree to meet our eligibility criteria. Like he was trying to explain to you,